Hey guys, it's Reynolds here. Today we're going to be doing a 425 example run with no Sun Partisan. We are going to be using the rest of our gear though. Feel free to adapt it with or without it. You should be okay without the Shadow, but it certainly helps, especially with Restore Management. So these are our invocations, softcore, blah, blah, blah. Keep in mind that we are taking off on a diet, but feel free to turn that on and turn off Quiet Prayers is what I would recommend. And then you can always do something like this. This is what I would say is a good alternative if you're not comfortable with quiets, but I'd personally rather have quiets and have on a diet. That gives you a little bit more bandaged food anyway, but it's up to you. Either way works. I don't really like hardcore running, and I'm very comfortable getting a sub 35, so it's up to you how you want to play it. Either way works. Now we are running upset stomach as the only difference to my normal money rate setup. Everything else is pretty much the same here. And you see that I have taken a DDS. You actually don't need the SGS here, but it helps with supply management if you are struggling, especially with Zebak on Quiet Prayers. But remember, if you aren't taking Quiet Prayers, I would recommend not even taking it. The SGS, that is. Feel free to do what's comfortable for you. And we have taken Claws, so we can save a slot on the bolts. And because of we're taking Claws, we're going to be using an Akkha. We're going to do 2 Fangs into a Claw, repeat. Should be end of his day. That's it. What I recommend is about somewhere between 6 and 5 restores, and then the rest is brews. So let's do something like this. It's pretty comfortable. You know, heck, let's do 5-5. We'll make it look nice and pretty too. Let's pot up. Let's go into Baba. Baba with Quiet Prayers is fine as long as he's level 0. I recommend doing him early. I need to stand too. And we aren't bringing chins for this setup because we want to save as much space as possible, but you should be okay taking about 1 away for each. Now, because I have Shadow and they have hot fixed the accuracy on this thing from 3 to 4 times, you don't actually need to pray Augury at a lot of spots. The main offender of like soaking up prayer for not much gain is probably going to be Akkha. Turning on Augury saves you a 0.2 DPS, which is about 2%, technically a little under 2. Let me get my brew back. So it's really not worth it, in my opinion, to use Augury on Akkha unless you're speedrunning. You can typically save a lot more space on other switches than those like 4 seconds you would get from, using it there. But it's up to you. Some speedrunners, of course, will still opt for it. That being said, for Warden, it is a little bit of a bigger DPS increase. It's about 0.6, which is about a thrall's worth of DPS, which in my opinion is pretty worth it. Unless you want to also compare like the 10% prayer to Augury, in which case it's not very good either. Like the 10-15% prayer is much better bang for buck at that place. But there's not really, at the same time, there's not really much else to use your prayer on at P3 Warden, assuming you went in life anyway. And because I have no chins, I am going to focus the Shaman first. Except for this instance where I just kind of forgot to. Gonna kill these thralls before I get on to the next wave. Kill this guy, just get him out of the way. Much more efficient to go for the Shaman, but he's the only person that you ever have to melee for the rest of the fight. We'll pipe these thralls on the way to some pillars. And then finish these guys off. If you took a lot of damage, feel free to brew up here. Shouldn't be that big a deal to use a full brew here. A little on the slow side, but acceptable. We're just going to use one Fang spec. We ideally want to start the boulders with 100% spec, so we can blowpipe spec them for some free heals. Let's drop 2 brews up here. Uncharge whatever staff we have. Death charge runes. And we're not going to kill the baboons directly. We're just going to tap them on the shoulder with the blowpipe during the rolling boulder phase, and we will get credit when the boulders run them over. Oof, that one hurt. Just like so, it's tap him on the shoulder. We'll blow pipe spec that for some HP. And then proceed with hitting Baba. Let the Blood Fury do the work. If we need to use a brew here, of course we will. That's like half the point of having it. Do want to watch out for this banana though. Death charge. Should be proccing soon. Now you can just go back onto hitting Baba. Pick up your stuff as needed. Finish them off with Fang specs. There's no more boulders from here on out. So far, no brews used. Pretty chill. I don't even know what to do with these brews, to be honest. Let's put these guys back in. Let's do whatever this number is. Minus 10. 18, 7, 10. Avoid the obelisk. Drop these guys. Don't be ashamed if you use like a full brew. It's not that bad. Now from here on out, we're in the rooms that you can conserve a lot of prayer. You can skip just like so, from here to here. Discover about 4 tiles. This is with the Tombs of a Masket plugin if you haven't checked. You can edit settings to make it look like mine. What do I have it as? Tombs. It's a very overpowered plugin. I vouch every day for it to be nerfed. I have it like this. Matching display on tile only. AC 0 and overlay. Now, I recommend just fanging about twice. Death charge right away. And then thrall once you get to that corner there on the northeast. The reason we're not dumping all Fang specs is we want to use SGS about 2 times during the kill. Save ourselves about 1 restore dose. And bring the room to a pretty much supplyless room. we're gonna SGS back one of these guys. And we're not gonna pre-ranged. The Agiles don't hit that hard to warrant you having to pre-ranged all the time. However, when the Overlord spawns 100%, definitely pre-ranged. This guy deals tons of damage. Jump a Fang Spec to try to get him down before the melee comes. Didn't work out. Now we're gonna get on the melee. Now we're gonna poke Kephri a bit. Don't be afraid if your HP is a little low. You're gonna SGS at least once. Dung here. I didn't expect it to do it so quick, but dung there. Set up their cage for Ranger 2. Might SGS twice here. Back on the boss. You can dung along this line as necessary. Just to fill in some gaps while you're waiting for it to get lower. As Kephri gets lower HP, get ready to go there. But you truly want to wait until the last second because you don't want to get dunged anywhere here. You just want to get dunged here. Nice. Alright, now we're gonna pray range, then melee as we get closer, and then spread out the arcane. That was a pretty sloppy transition because I had to run all the way across the room. I'll use Fang Spec to help patch it up, guarantee some accuracy, get him to teleport. Because he's high HP, we're only gonna do one hit on the soldier, and we're gonna run here right away to shift that ranger north. Use another Fang Spec. You can see how Fang Specs kind of like patch up the set 2. Now we're just gonna use Piety. We'll pray range if we get below 30 though. Lazy Flick Piety. Still haven't used anything in this room yet. We want to dung the left side because we want to keep this right side open. But after we finish the rune, we can run straight to the end, which is right there. And we want to have a wall blocking us. We'll use a Fang Spec here to push this guy quick. Speed up the room a little bit. Just some Fang Specs. Finish them all. Turn on protect range because we're on the lower side. And noodling. As a tip, you can actually use this area too. This spot basically has like infinite space, which never run out. Really slow room. I think that's a minute slower than I normally expect, but I'm pretty sure that's because I've taken my time anyway. We're gonna go power here. I'm gonna do Akkha first, but if you took Path Seeker and Zebak's 3, you go Zebak instead. Get the pickaxe. Let's back over early, because I'm at very high mining. If tick downs are an issue for you when it comes to meeting your mining thresholds, then feel free to hold your spec until last second, or not use it at all, up to you, depending on your situation. Unfortunately, I had to make space for the mirror, which I haven't had to do in a while. What the fuck just happened to me? Excuse me? Game? Is that 2 shadows? That's crazy, man. It is what it is. So what we'll do to patch up that insane funny RNG, I guess, is we're going to brew up. Just drink a whole one. And then we're just gonna salt. And the salt will regen some of our stats back as we get there. Truly did not expect to take so much damage from shadows. Thrall and Death Charge. Now in this room, you don't need to pray Augury if you have Shadow. Saves us quite a bit of prayer. We'll just be praying melee every now and again. As well as, you know, in case it uses Stay Vigilant, then we'll pray whatever else. We're unpotted, unfortunately, for a few hits there. Let's pray melee. Let's set up the butterfly. Should be okay not to pray for a while. Maybe about like 3 cycles of butterflying. Something like that. Let's turn it on around now. So it teleported, so next one must be materializing orbs. Oh, I must be losing it. I thought I clicked Akkha. We'll brew up on the 15-second intervals of our brew. Run to our next spot. I have no idea how I clicked over there. I had to do a little bit of manual pathing there, because I kind of griefed it a little bit, but... messed up there. Didn't need to take that melee. I just clicked Akkha too slow. Two hits into claws. That's not gonna hit me. Good. Check your cardinals and then your diagonals. Oh, he just exploded. Cool. Whatever. Let's go to Zebak now. Got our adrenaline and salts ready in case we need to, but we should be okay without them. Now normally I take out my Zebak crossbow here and get ready for it, but with this setup we're opting to use claws instead for a little extra space, so I don't have them. Instead what we're just gonna do is stick on shadowing him. We'll hold the adrenaline for something more useful. Probably P1 Obelisk is better use of it. Or the end actually, never mind. If you don't know 32.4, you should learn it right away. It's just copy exactly how I did it right there. One key thing that people don't do is they don't use the water container on both the tree and the waterfall. Let's sit here, hit a bit, get our SGS prepped actually. We're gonna use it on the jugs, they max out. In my previous 500 video that I made a few weeks ago, I did not know that they max on jugs as well. What I recommend doing is right-clicking the jugs and marking the shift-click option as hit. Nice, easy solution to start. Now, SGS will heal you like 30 something, but I wouldn't recommend waiting and using both. I would recommend using them one at a time if you're not using adrenaline, because you want to get your spec bar rolling. And also, getting to spec 2 jugs can be tricky sometimes, because it's going to be during wipeout waves as well. Shift click hit jug. As a bonus, it cleared some of the wave for me and gave me some more space to work with. Keep our prayer high. We got a nice solution over here. Now we can SGS here, but I prefer not to do it during boulders because you have a lot less time to do it. Especially doing the switches, solving the puzzle and everything. This is going to be the last SGS we'll pull off. Where's the solution? Oh, it's all the way down there. Let's take these guys off. For the end, check that 15-second timer and then brew twice. Or as many times as you need to, of course. It doesn't have to be just twice. I did it once a little bit too early. And then I missed a prayer. Alright, let's focus up. Let's not grief for assault more than that. Got one more chance to brew twice here. Could have been a little bit more efficient with the timing on it, but I chose whatever was easier for Zebak. Now, if I need to really do it again, I'll just brew twice and then salt, which is fine too, because, you know, we're going right into Warden. Looks like he's being a bit of an annoyance right now. Let's do that. Brew twice into assault. Now, we don't really... If you guys want these 1 doses, go ahead, but don't really matter that much. gonna drop him. Get the rest of our things out. The most important thing I would say to have ready are, of course, the Ambrosia. The Brew, you can always come back for that later, but have the bandage ready for the beginning. Let's tank to 81 or 78, doesn't matter. Get our T-bow ready, or whatever weapon you're using. Doesn't have to be a T-bow, it could be a Bofa or something, whatever you use on P2. Zebak crossbow's fine too. And we're gonna hold this bandage until after the orbs hit us. Wow, we could declaw spec this too. Should have done it once. I don't really care. That would have been more efficient though. Let's get our DDS ready. And our SGS ready. Let's leave the boots on. We can bandage now. You can technically bandage right before it hits you, because bandage is a DOT anyway. Same thing with the Scarab. Let's get rid of these a little early. And even if you're a slower kill using a Fang or Bofa on this guy, you should be okay. Purely on the fact that you have another whole bandage to work with anyway. We'll brew on the 15-second timer here. Let's safe up with Ambrosia. Made a horrendous mistake there. Not like we'll need more Ambrosia, it's fine. Not really stressed about it. You didn't really need to use Augury. We'll do 5 hits into an SGS whack. I wouldn't recommend specking, because you're probably going to miss it barely, the 2 down, if you spec. And that 28% more. 25% more, I don't know why I said 28. Get our DDS ready as before. This one you can use the corner safe spot, you can run through them. I had someone complain that why would I do this instead of just running through them, because this one I can lag and nothing bad will happen to me. Alright, spec it until it dies. Give us some Karis Partisan wax, SGS when it gets lower. Oh, I don't have Karis Partisan. Claw whack it is. And to a SGS whack. I think actually just SGS would have been fine there too. Sorry, I've been trying so many different invocation levels, I'm not sure what is like the threshold anymore for everything. So this one you can use Mystic Might, or whatever, but it doesn't really matter here because I have like 8,000 prayer. We'll just save up a little bit on the HP so we can survive getting one banged. Now before someone starts complaining to me that Shadow solved all my problems, please note that I have an entire 2 brews, an Ambrosia that I could, sorry, an entire 2 restores. I didn't fleek on Baba. I made mistakes with Deadly Prayers on, and yet I still have 2 full ones. Sure, Augury would have eaten a lot, but 2 full ones? I don't know. You can definitely patch it up. And don't forget, I also have this brew that could have been another restore. I'm pretty sure I didn't need this SGS. This SGS could have also been another restore, although it kind of is basically a restore with extra steps. And then, yeah, the Ambrosia. You just need to make it here with no supplies and you're good with the Ambrosia. The Ambrosia member is also a lot of prayer. I was looking for my Karis Partisan to start hitting these guys with, but I don't have it. So I might have a bandage. We'll bandage when we're on the 60s. Good time. Bandage is a lot slower than Scared, which is why I would prefer to use it a little earlier than usual. Get our claws ready. Adrenaline a little early. Now, if you're using a T-bow or Shadow, you should proc all the way in the back, because the longer travel distance you can get your projectile, the more overkill and like kind of like damage you can get in. Very minor tip, but it can be the difference. Squeezing in that extra hit going into the last phase, getting the extra time. Heal one last time. Steps applause. Ambrosia for fun. Basically ignore all the lightning that has ever hit us. And we'll actually take it kind of seriously. You want to click the shadows as they're big, because they're going to be pop, or not as they're big, as they're about to pop. And you're chilling. You see, I still have a full brew, 2 restores. I don't know what to deal with. So you should be able to do this without a shadow as well. Never purple. I hope that helps you guys. There's always some ways you can do to cheese this a little bit more. You could bank some more range switches for all I care. You could take like no mage switches if you're ranging it. You know, there's always some ways to make it work. Just keep in mind that you have to know what your inventory is strong at. I can't say, oh, I have a bronze dagger and a bullet pipe. How can I complete this? I don't think you can, to be honest. 470, you need to know what gear is good. I think you can do this with a Bofa. I think you can do this with Bofa and a Sang. I don't think you need Shadow or T-bow to complete it, but I think if you don't have one of them, either the T-bow or the Shadow, yes, your last bit is going to be rough, especially without some sort of spec weapon. If you have claws to kind of get you through that last part, then yes, it doesn't really matter if you have a Bofa, to be honest. You'll still have the Ambrosia. You'll probably have 2 instead of the 1 that I had. You'll probably, you know, deal better with the lightning than I did because I just didn't care. There's a lot of things you can do differently to make things work out for you. This is just an example of a no sun run, and I have extras left. Don't mentally gatekeep yourself because you don't have something. If I did that, then I would never get to the place that I currently am, which is having everything. Because I've always tried I always try the content no matter what gear I have, and if it doesn't work out, then it's up to me to decide whether I want to keep going with that level of difficulty or getting better gear.